What a privilege to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you everybody for coming today. Rarely am I speechless, but I don't know what to say. I really don't, and I don't know how to feel. We met just a couple weeks ago, Ofir, in a restaurant through a mutual friend and had the most casual conversation. And it was a blessing because I saw you, in your element, and we had really deep conversation about the feelings that we were having. And when I walk through this exhibit, I hear people saying what they're feeling, and I'm hearing a lot of anger. And anger at how we've been victimized, how there's a second Holocaust, how we say never again, and we don't even know what that means anymore. And the feeling that I always have that we spoke about is guilt, right? And it can be guilt from just going out to a bar and drinking and dancing and thinking, what am I doing now? How can I do this if there's hostages and people were dying? And the minute I met you, there's been one constant, and that's your smile. And you're a survivor of a genocide who's been shot twice in each leg, who just had a baby, who experienced horrors that we can't even imagine. And I want to know, Ofir, what is your process? Because we're in the healing room right now. And so how do we heal from this? How can we emulate you? Because your happiness and your lightness and your gratitude is so apparent.
So first of all, such an honor to be sitting next to you after we met a few weeks ago, and we spoke, and immediately I felt this connection. And you asked these questions while I was in my element, like you say. And for us survivors, for me, and for everyone in Israel, and I think in general Jews all around the world, since October 7, we're on this journey. And what happened to us on October 7th, it's still unimaginable. And it will take years to understand what happened to us. But there were so many emotions, anger, and we didn't know what to do and what to think. But the days after, and this is what I always focus on, and also this exhibit, I think this is what it's all about, this message. The day after, there was so much light. We were producers, we had no idea of how to heal anyone. And we opened a healing center, and we had to learn these new words, donations and foundation and healing and trauma. And these amazing people came to us and joined us in this journey. And Seth Davis is one of them, he's also here. And he just introduced us, and they came to us and said, we are here for you, whatever you need, without even knowing us. And 4 weeks later, my daughter was born, our first daughter. And so this is why I have the smile always on my face. And you cannot deny this, that there is light everywhere you look. And it comes in so many shapes, and you just have to look for it. We could sit at home and be angry, and we could sit at home and think of what happened to us, but we didn't choose what happened on October 7, but we chose what we did the day after. And while taking action and healing our community, this is our way to heal ourselves. And so this is the main message I always have, and also going through this exhibition and finishing here at this healing area. You see there's so much light of this community, of people taking care of each other. And so I'm grateful for every day, for every person I meet, for everyone that comes over to me and says, this is amazing what you did. And I didn't do anything alone. We're all doing this together. So we understand in this journey that together we are the strongest.
But you did take, and I don't want to underestimate the amount of work and effort that's gone into this. And you took what was the darkest day in our history since the Holocaust, the largest massacre, the largest music massacre in history with over 400 people who died. You've recreated a scene of a genocide and then taken that which was meant to destroy us and created a huge, huge thing from it that's brought the community unity and brought us purpose. And that goes to what was mentioned yesterday, which was the Parsha. And I would like to mention it again because it was so powerful that this week the Parsha is all about how we get our name as the people of Israel. And what it generally means is a struggle with God. We struggle with God, we struggled with the angel. And so naturally the question is this our existence? Do we have to have this dark? Why do the Jewish people have to have so much darkness in order to be that great light for the whole wide world? And how do you feel that this is giving you the purpose? Somebody who's in this space, such as me, who works in the space of fighting and combating Jew hatred and anti-Semitism, the hatred has literally given me a life purpose. And on the one hand, I'm obviously happy to be in the fight, but on the other hand, I really hate that. I hate that my entire purpose is built around fighting what is a negative, what is Jew hatred.
I wish we wouldn't be here and speak today. I wish I would never meet anyone here, and October 7th wouldn't happen to us. If you look at the history, and I'm not a big historian, but it's, in every step of our way of being a Jew, it's not only being a Jew, of being good or looking at the good instead of the evil. And the light comes always out of the darkness. And I wish we wouldn't go through this. And I always say, I'm third generation Holocaust survivor. And my daughter, she's now first generation of Nova survivor. And my grandparents, without even knowing, without even thinking about it, they gave us the tools. They not only built a country, they built a family, and they taught us what it is to be resilient and to be strong. And I wish we wouldn't have this history, but in the darkest days, there's always, the Jewish togetherness, this love for each other, and these values, which are also the values of the Nova Festival, of this community, the respect for each other, the love for human beings, the love for nature. And I wish it wouldn't come out of such darkest days, but these values were always there. But sometimes, when I look at it in a spiritual way, unfortunately, we need something needs to happen, so we remember this.
Can you tell us a little bit behind the scenes about what kind of choices you were making as you were actually setting up the exhibit? One of the videos out there that I found extraordinarily compelling was that of a woman who, it was her duty, and she was in charge of sorting the shoes and sorting all the lost belongings. And yesterday, a story was told that actually a father came to the exhibit of his child who was murdered at Nova and found his son's backpack in the lost and found. And that was not the first time that that's happened here. And that video also told of the difference between what the Nazis did. The Nazis murdered, and then they meticulously organized the shoes and they organized the glasses, where what she described, what she was doing is doing the work of organizing like the Nazis did. So what are the feelings that go into physically touching? There's a shoe outside there, many shoes with the actual dust from the desert still on it. You could put it on your finger. So what are the choices that have to be made? And I'm sure you were making comparisons between Holocaust museums would we call it a modern museum of Holocaust?
Sometimes we say that it's like a Holocaust museum, but with color, because Holocaust museum, everything is black and white. But so when we started this, then the idea of this exhibition started in Tel Aviv, and one of the co-producers said, "Listen, we have to do something so for our friends, so everyone can come and pay their respect for the memorial." It started with the idea that we are a community without borders, and out of 1,200 people that were murdered on that day, 400, back then it was 400, were from Nova. So we opened in Tel Aviv, and before we opened the exhibition, we had already this healing center running, a place for the survivors and the families of the victims to come and heal together. So at the center, we already had all these belongings, the shoes, the backpacks, and it was much bigger than what you see here. And then we thought about, okay, should we bring it to the exhibition? Because we want a place for memorial. But when you look at our history, there's not even a question. Of course, it should be presented. This is what you see here is how the festival area was left behind. And once we open the door, we understand it's not only for the memorial. We have a strong tool in our hand to show the world what happened to us. There's so much denial and so much hate. And we will do everything in our power to show the world and to tell our story and help educate. Through that, from the memorial, we are also fighting hate and fighting anti-Semitism and help educate communities that have no idea of what happened. We were also at Burning Man we did an art installation there. 80,000 music festival lovers, and we were surprised. We had over 60 volunteers at this art exhibition at the Burning Man, and we were surprised that so many people had no idea what this is about. And when the volunteers explained to them, they told us they fall on their knees and started to cry. And so this has become our purpose, to heal our community. That's our first purpose. We have over 3,000 survivors, 5,000 family members, and through that we will educate the world and fight hate as much as we can.
Amen. Which part of this exhibit do you feel closest to and really triggers those memories for you? I mean, you literally are a part of the exhibit. You're a survivor, but your story is also here.
And so usually when I host people or walk with people around this exhibition, I do the opening video, which I call The Light, and then usually I tell everyone I will see you on the other side, back here at this area. Because walking through, of course, I hear the sound and I hear the videos and the testimonies. It sometimes goes over my head, but every day there's a reminder of what happened to us. It doesn't matter if I'm at the exhibition at the attack area or see the tents or the pictures of all the victims, and it doesn't matter if I'm at home, there's every day a reminder. But what I relate to the most is this area, because once you finish the journey, you enter back to the light, and this is what it's all about. The resilience, the strength of who we are, not only the Nova community, but the Jewish communities all around the world. And this is always my message. There's good, there's hope, as long as we are together.
Your partner also, Scooter, mentioned yesterday how shocked he was that, people in the music industry and the artistic industry, it wasn't, just an easy, wow, I'm so sorry this happened to you, that we were met with silence, we were met with denial, we were met with, moral equivocation and equivalence. So you're in the artistic community. I'm in the legal community. It's not as fun. But why do you think that the victims were not embraced as victims, particularly in the music community?
Well, this was really the only thing that we were really disappointed as producers, as music lovers, festival goers from all around the world, we didn't get that support. But we were not surprised because people, the DJs, the producers, they care about followers. They care about what's not really important. And I know many DJs who supported Israel, and they lost some gigs, and they were canceled from their tours. But they say this is worth it because I'm true to myself. And when Scooter stepped in the exhibition in Tel Aviv, after his first step, he turned around and okay, guys, shut up. What will it take to bring it tomorrow to LA? The whole world needs to see this. And he told a story about the Ariana Grande concert when this happened there. And I think 27 were murdered. The whole world was against terrorism and denying and supporting the victims. And when it happened to Israel, silence. So I'm happy we met Scooter because together with Scooter and Joe and Josh, we managed to bring this to New York, and we understand this will tour. We will show the whole world. We will not stop here in the States. We will go to Toronto after, and to Europe, and there will be another version of this exhibition continuing touring in the States and other major cities. Because again, everyone needs to see it. It's a tool to educate, and I hope slowly that we will get more support.
And it's also important for everyone to bring our allies here, not just the Jewish community. So the last question I want to ask, because you said yourself that it's brought more light, and what it certainly has brought, especially to the Jewish community, is unity, right? Because the terrorists did not discriminate against who they killed based on what their political point of view was, if they're pro-reform, anti-reform, voting for Trump or voting for, it doesn't matter, it's Biden. A Jew is a Jew is a Jew is a Jew is a Jew. It doesn't matter. And so ultimately, what it also brought out in us, besides our unity, is our Judaism. And we discussed this at dinner. We had a really hard conversation about whether or not the festival should happen on Shabbat, reflecting on that. And so I want to close out by you giving us some insight, maybe some personal insight, on how, if at all, Judaism and the values of Judaism are reflected here in this exhibit.
So I'm not religious. I don't wear a kippah, and I don't keep Shabbat. But one of my best friends, he's very, very religious. And I saw through him that it doesn't matter if I keep Shabbat or I eat kosher or not kosher. We share the same values, the respect and the love to each other, and the respect and love to human beings, and to be humble. And it doesn't matter where you come from or who you are, because these are our values in the festival. We believe that if we listen to the same music, then we're all the same. And I have friends from Iran and from Lebanon that I met in other festivals around the world, and it's really like that. We are the same. So for me, being a Jew is these values that I grew up with, that my grandparents taught me, that my parents taught me, a Jewish home, an Israeli home, to take these values and spread them out to the world. This is for me to be a Jew. And he, my best friend, he accepts me as a Jew, and he doesn't look at me as less of a Jew than him. And I respect him because I see all the goodness of how he practiced his Judaism, and he sees all the goodness of how I'm doing it my way. And I think this is what it's all about, to be a Jew for me.
Well, thank you.